Whenever you're ready.
Hi, I'm Esther, and this is my evaluation. First, I'll look at how my media product uses, develops, and challenges conventions. This is my front cover. I went with all the main conventions that mostly all magazines have, as like a person as a background image, cover lines, kickers, explanatories, barcodes, stuff that generally all magazines have. With my title, I stuck to the convention that lots of magazines have, where they put the artist's head in front of the title, and I went with red because part of my, when I was doing my questionnaires, I found that my audience preferred the colour scheme red, black and white, so, and you can see that's all over the front cover. And some magazines such as NME use quotes as explanatories, but I decided to just go with the normal convention of just explaining what the articles are. My front cover image goes with conventions as well, because the model is looking directly at the camera, and it's a kind of mid close-up shot. Also, the direction of the eye flow is kind of in a backward S shape, and so I made sure the artist was to the left, and so was the text. Okay, and this is my table of contents. I went with the usual conventions, editor's note, a wall of images. I took inspiration from NME because it's very structured and asymmetrical, so I made sure all the pictures were the same size. But one thing that I really went against conventions is the background image. Table of contents they don't really have a background image, but I thought this was a particularly strong image because of the lighting behind the artist and his pose. I included the image credit on the side, and this is usually very small and hidden. I decided to make my magazine wholly based on music because there are magazines such as Rolling Stone who have as you can see, they have national affairs and stuff like that, but I decided to stick with conventions and just do it purely music. This is my double-page spread. I took inspiration from NME because their double-page, when I was analysing the double-page spreads, I saw that they had one page which was a picture and one page which was the article. But usually when it's the article, they have a completely blank background. But I decided to put a faded black box behind just because I thought it bring the pages more together, and I also, by making the text bigger, it sort of made the pages together. The anchor I made usually anchors can either be quite big and noticeable, or they can be small, like in Q, where they just have the small Q logo. But I decided to make it similar to the lines that I used up there, just so it kind of links the page together. I didn't want to use too many fonts. I said to myself the minimum that I would use, no, the maximum that I would use is 3, so I made the drop cap the same as the pull quote. And I didn't use, some things that I didn't use were the button, slugs, captions for the pictures, just because I didn't think they look very good with it. Okay, so how does my media product represent particular social groups? My target audience is male and female, B to C2 social grading, ages 17 to 26, and a keen interest in music, kind of like indie pop music. The pictures I represent with my double-page spread, the guys wearing parka and hoop earrings, and that's quite in fashion with younger people, and people Jessie J wear hoop earrings. The types of, for language, the types of the address make it seem more relaxed, and like the audience don't have to strain to read it and they can just read it whenever they want. The choice of articles, I chose articles that they are involved in. Like I chose one that was the reader's takeover, which makes the readers kind of feel part of the magazine. And I chose artists that they like, that are in the charts at the moment, like Ed Sheeran and Mumford and Sons and people like that. Again, with the colour scheme, red, black and white, this is like associated with kind of rocky indie music, and when doing my questionnaires I found my audience like that most. I didn't really want to use any design fonts or and I decided to make it sans serif, but I still wanted it like big and bold, just because make it seem a bit more serious about the music and not just the design. And what kind? So the next question is, what media institution might distribute my magazine? I researched Hearst magazine, but I felt it wasn't really parallel with what I was looking for, because they didn't have any music magazines. But some things that interested me was they had almost as much attention to their digital properties as magazines, so that'd be good for when, say, if I do a website or something like that. But they also had an interest in lots of other things, not just purely magazines, so it would seem less attention would be on the actual magazine. I also researched IPC media. They all, some things that interested me, which I thought was good, was that they had 60, they say, iconic media brands, which could be really good, and but I felt their target audience didn't really go parallel with mine, because they focus more on women and men, when I focus more on younger people. Their websites also reach over 20 million users every month, which shows their audience are active in looking at the magazines. But I feel they also do music magazines, but I feel that like Enemy is a bit too similar to my magazine, so and this has already become like a big brand, so there might not be room for my magazine. The one that I have chosen is Bauer Media. It's very big and worldwide. It has 230 magazines in 15 countries, so I could spread, that means that with Bauer Media I could spread my magazine out even more. And its two main divisions are magazine and radio, because you can see it has lots of radio programs, so that shows that my magazine can branch to that as well. But it also has TV, it has apps and stuff like that, so that would help. And it may, like, Hue magazine and Kerrang are quite similar, but I feel they're not similar enough, because Kerrang's very rock based, and Q, I feel the audience is a bit older than my target audience, so there would be room for my magazine in the publishers. And the next question was, who would be the audience for your media product? So as seen before, my audience is male and female, B2C to social grading. Okay, so the first, I say that younger people are seen as having bigger interest in music, and this is because younger people are the ones who will go out and see the artists perform. They're the ones who are I think are more interested, and they want to go out and see the people. And I say this one, having it as an indie pop genre means there's more variety of artists and there's more people who will be interested, because it's two genres kind of forming together. And so there will be people who are interested in indie music, and there will be people who are interested in pop music that will like the magazine. And by knowing that the readers are actually interested and serious about the music, I can differentiate the people who are more serious in hearing about the artists and gossip and stuff like that, and people were actually serious about hearing the music and what is going on with music at the moment. So how I attracted my audience. With my front cover, I use direct eye contact, which attracts them because it's like the artist looking at you and you looking in at the artists. And I chose artists that they like, because when I did my questionnaire, I found out that Ed Sheeran was the one that they most wanted to see, so I included that. And Mumford & Sons was next, so I included them just to attract my target audience. And again, with the colour scheme, bright colours, red, black and white associated with indie. And with my table of contents, again, artists that they like, and like Tiny Temper as the background, and more artists included from the front cover. Also, articles that interest them, I put in, like gigs and tours at the moment, which keeps them updated, and it's what they want to know, because they are of an age that they want to go out and see the artists perform. So my magazine can apply them with that information. And when I was researching table of contents, I got some inspiration from the Rolling Stones, because I really liked the design and the layout, because it was quite simple, so the audience would, so it's just easy to read. The table of contents, the double page spread, I used all the normal conventions and stuff like that, and informal language, which like language, sort of swearing and stuff like that, because it appeals to, it would be less likely to appeal to those who are of a higher class. At the bottom, just above the anchor, I told the audience where and when they can buy the CD or the album or the song, and that was available on iTunes. And as iTunes is one of the biggest places where you can buy music, I know my audience would really benefit from that. And I also included social networking like Twitter, where I did a scenario where the artist got into an argument with another one, and this shows that this shows to the audience they can also connect with the artists by following them on Twitter and stuff like that. So what have I learned about technologies from the process? I learnt a lot from Photoshop. With my front cover image, I was able to correct like blemishes on the girl's face and make it appear a lot smoother. With Liquify, I was able to like make it look like she had more mascara on, or make her lips appear bigger. I was also able to change the brightness, contrast, make it look a lot sunnier. And I also used the clone stamp tool to, which is that one, where I could take out hair that was like out of place, or there was a hair like in front of her face that I could take out also. And I could also take out the colour from the picture, because I felt if I did, I wouldn't be able to go with the colour scheme, because the red wouldn't be able to be seen and the text would be difficult to read. I also was able to enhance my pictures by changing the levels. I did this for two of the images on my table of contents. This one I changed the levels by clicking on a bit of black, say where the back of the head is, and this changed the outline of the artist and made it appear stronger, and the lighting in the back a bit brighter. And this one I used the grey, changed the grey level and clicked on a bit of grey to make it appear sunnier and enhance the photo more. with SlideShare, I was able to present my documents and PowerPoints that I made. It was really easy to use. After finishing my PowerPoints, I would just upload it, and it would be converted for me, and it would also embed it so I could copy and paste and put it on my blog to show all my work. Picnic was very easy to use as well. It was like another form of Photoshop, and the tools were really simple because they were all on the left-hand side, and they told you what it was and what it did and how to do it exactly. But after saving the image after saving the image, I felt it wasn't really that clear, and it looked a lot professional had I done it on Photoshop. So looking back at my first task and how I've progressed, here I've got like for the Fold, which is my school magazine. I use very simple editing. I just edited the blemishes and stuff like that. But with a cappella, I was able to change the background, manipulate her face, and do more. And also my table of contents, you can see I have a lot of white spaces, blank spaces, but with my table of contents here, I filled it up with lots of pictures, lots of colours, and even put in an editor's note. The Fold looks a lot less unprofessional because it doesn't have a barcode, it doesn't have a date line. But then again, it was a school magazine, so I felt a bit more restricted because it wasn't going to be bought by people. And also, with the school magazine, I was only really, the target audience was only people who go to school, so it was more general, and it was only about school. But with the music magazine, I could make my target audience, and I could choose what music they like, which shaped my magazine, and I could choose the artists as well and make them how I wanted. So that's where my target audience was really more thought through. Also, on the Fold, it isn't really all lined up because I didn't use the grid on Photoshop, but with my music magazine I used the grid and to make sure that all my articles and my page numbers were lined up, as well as all my text. And with the school magazine, I didn't really plan any of the images, and I didn't have costume. But then again, I didn't feel I needed costume because it was a school. But with the music magazine, I could go all out and get costume, like the hoodie, like parkas and jewellery for my double page spread and stuff like that. So, yeah.
So I've got one question. Can you go back to the slide about target audience and your language, or if you can just get up any page from your DPS.
This one.
If you keep going, it's the one about your DPS.
This one. Oh wait, this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
it's okay. Okay, good. Can you give me an example of informal or conversational language that you use?
I've made the artist, she uses like swear words and stuff like that, and what I did was I said that the artist actually wrote the article, so it was more like, it was a lot more relaxed and stuff like that, and she could say what she wanted rather than being restricted.
Why did you think that was suitable for your target audience?
Well, because...
I mean, if you go back to your previous slide of your target audience. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, just because if they're more serious about the music, they can know what the artist is going to do, say with her next album or something, or how she's developing and stuff like that. And I'm not really sure.
So why did you choose to use an informal and
just
colloquial
because it's
language?
more relaxed and stuff like that, and because they're of like a BC2 social grading, they're not as like, I'm not sure how to explain it.
Do you think if your age range was higher or if your social grade was higher, you'd use the same language, or would
No,
you
I don't think I would. I think I would make it more formal, and because yeah, they're of a young age, they're not as like. Not as serious. Like, and they want to feel like part of the magazine and part of the music.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you.